Sanders came close to getting the Democrat one. They were both running on the anger. I mean, there are swathes of America which have been completely gutted. All the industry went, nothing new has come in. You read stories about the level of drug abuse in those areas. People got nothing to do. The same is happening, in Spain and in Greece. I mean, and my worry is that anger will start to fuel sort of individual terrorist acts and extreme right groups, we used to have an extreme left group in Germany back in the 70s. I think it's a real danger. Governments have got to start listening and responding, because all over the Western world, and it's certainly true here in Britain, people think it doesn't matter who wins the election, they just look after a small elite and line their own pockets.
And is that true to a certain extent?
I think that is exactly true, because, if you actually look at Britain, inequality was cut in half in the period from the First World War down to Mrs. Thatcher's election in '79. Now it's back to what it was. In just those 35 years, we've reversed, all that post-war progress we made, and that and it's also left us a weaker economy. We got the biggest trade deficit we've ever had in our lives, because if you allow your manufacturing to be wiped out, manufacturing is about half your exports. In Germany, their manufacturing is 5 times the size of ours. They didn't let it die out, they invested. They sell 5 times what we do to China. Everything here has gone into the services, a service sector, but you can't export a haircut or an exclusive Chelsea meal,
Where do we go from here? Article 50 hasn't been exercised. Cameron's putting that off. Is that a political move? Where do you see, in reality, where do you see us in 2 years?
No one, this is the interesting thing. No one prepared a plan for what happens if we vote to leave. No, it wasn't a team of civil servants working out or anything. And now we've got this most complicated treaty that we've got to. It will take years. I don't think there's any chance of it happening in 2 years. And all the time this is up in the air, foreign firms will be worried about investing here because they don't know which way it's going to go. And I do think, once this deal is done, we should have another referendum about whether people think we should take that deal or leave. Because I think by the time the deal is put together, a lot of the people who voted to leave will be furious that that deal is not what they're expecting. It will be, if we're to stay part of the European market, we've got to accept the free movement of labour. And that's the key issue that drove people to vote to leave.
We see the pound down 14 points, it's recovered a bit. Stock markets, between 10 and 20% down, they've recovered a bit. But when you see things like that, and this is something I was thinking about the last few days, do not the politicians, the businessmen, everyone who's working in the best interest of the UK, don't they want to engineer some solution to reverse this decision?
Well, this is the trade-off. The pound's been overvalued for so long, and that's been so damaging to our exports. And so, if the pound is at a lower level and we start to export more, that will help create more jobs. But it will also mean we have to pay more for our imports, the food we import and all of that. So you could start to see a bit more inflation. And we were just in a real mess. No one, didn't Greenland leave? Well, it's only about 8,000 people living in Greenland. There's just never been, I can't think of anything else in history which is, it's such a big shift. And it's all got to be worked out by lawyers and accountants. It's going to be an absolute nightmare.
So you're proposing that we might work on this solution for the next couple of years, and when we get an idea of what it looks like, to then put that to a vote and say, is this really what you want to do? And if not, let's not do it. And not just carry it through because there was a vote back in this time before we knew what it would look like.
Because none of the people campaigning for Brexit, except perhaps Michael Gove, had in the back of their mind what they really wanted to do. It was a campaign. It wasn't a serious economic strategy.
If we took the vote again today, what do you think the breakdown would be of it?
Well, it might have shifted, because I think already people are a bit disillusioned, because remember, we have promised we'd save £350 million a week. Now the people who said that say, it's not quite that, and we're going to spend it on the NHS. Oh no, we can't do that. Already they're rolling back. But who knows?
Continue watching this fascinating conversation for free by clicking on the link below to visit our website, learn from the best minds in the world, and connect with a community of passionate people building the best versions of themselves. Just click on the link below, and I'll see you on the inside.